In this vlog, we're going to talk about what life is like at the castle complex for attractions and what it's like since Anna and Elsa have gotten here. I wanted to get Sven too. Sven's not mine, but he's Emily's and he's adorable. And he likes carrots. Anyway. So, for those who don't know, I work at the castle complex. More specifically, I work at the lovely Princess Fairy Tale Hall, which is a character meet and greet. PhilharMagic, which is a 3D show. And then the Carousel, which is a carnival ride. Alright, so castle complex attractions are a little bit different because you have this thing called wishes. And I'm going to bring this up first just because it's on the top of my list. Okay, so for those who don't know, when wishes comes around, everything around the castle, like all the entrances around the castle, get shut down. Start shutting them down around 8 o'clock. The ramps in front of the castle don't open up until 11, and the areas behind the castle don't open up until 10:30. Keep that in mind. It's very good information to know when you're at Magic Kingdom. Wishes shifts. So if you work in Fantasyland, which can be the Enchanted Forest area, Storybook Circus, or the castle complex, then you can get trained for wishes. And all that is training you how to set up the ropes that block off the areas around the castle. And also you stand guard there from 8 until 10:30 or from 8 until 11, depending on what location you're placed at. And yeah, you stand there for the entire time. You're not allowed to leave your ropes. No one is allowed to cross your ropes, so don't try. And around Princess Fairy Tale Hall is where it gets most hectic. Because everyone panics because they think they can't go see Anna and Elsa. That said, let's bring it into the Frozegeddon, shall we? Alright. So, Anna and Elsa decided to arrive at Princess Fairy Tale Hall sometime in February. I can't remember when exactly. Probably blocked that out of my mind. At least I think it was then. Maybe it was in Easter? I can't remember. I can't remember anymore. Oh my gosh, my mind's going dead. Anyway, they arrived sometime around in the spring. And they moved over to Magic Kingdom because they were going to rebuild a character meet and greet for them at Epcot. Because the girls are Norwegian and so they belong in Norway. Well, what happened was there was some drama because of the Norway Pavilion, and you can look it up online. It's very kind of sad, actually. Basically, Frozen just kind of took it over, and Disney was like, yay, Frozen, let's use that because everyone loves it, and it brings people in and gives them, you know. And Norway was like, no, they're not ours, no. And it kind of made them bunk heads, and Norway lost, unfortunately. Anyway, so they were supposed to be building a meet and greet over there this entire time. Hasn't even gotten started yet because of this drama, which is why they went and took over Hollywood Studios, but that's beside the point. Anyway, since then, the Princess Fairy Tale Hall has become the most popular attraction in all of Disney World, even with the mine train, yes. The line is almost always an hour and a half. When they first arrived, it was like 300 and then 200 almost all the time. And at first, they were only there until about 5 o'clock, and then we'd switch them out with Snow White and Aurora. Well, people didn't like that for whatever reason, and so then they're here all day. So now they're here all day. Well, they're here until 30 minutes before park closing. Keep that in mind, 30 minutes before park closing. I may just do a vlog about just Anna and Elsa, but let me tell you, it has caused a lot of drama, a lot of reconsidering our rules for when it comes to getting back in line and stuff, and so it's been drama. Drama. Anyway, enough about Frozegeddon. That was so months ago, and I'd rather not think about it. Let's go back into, oh, I have an idea, 24-hour day, speaking of Anna and Elsa. So remember when I said that they were only here during the day at one point? Yeah, so for 24-hour day, they decided to kind of show up all day. Well, at least all day until later that night when the villains would switch out. So we had such a long line for Anna and Elsa. We had to cut that early. And when I say early, I mean like for 24-hour day, I worked from 8 p.m. to 5 or 6 in the morning. I can't remember. But I kind of blocked that day out of my mind because anyone who worked the hall got yelled at, and it was ridiculous. Anyway, so, oh God, where was I going with this story? We had to cut the line way early than we were supposed to because the line was ridiculously long because the park was just as busy during the day as it was in the wee hours of the morning, and which I totally was not expecting. I don't know why, but anyway, and to the point where it's like, okay, the villains weren't supposed to switch out until I think like it was 10, and a line started for the villains at like 8 or 9, and that line went all the way past Winnie the Pooh and almost reached the teacups. And that caused so much problem for guest flow and everything, and it was just this giant mess. And then the managers had not told us what villains were going to be on what side and when they were switching out, so that caused problems too. So everyone was getting the wrong line and people got yelled at. It was ridiculous, and that's all I'm going to say about that because it was ridiculous. That no one wanted to see PhilharMagic, so it was either get yelled at or work the most boring attraction in all of Magic Kingdom. So yeah, 24-hour day was not cool for cast members, especially since we couldn't go because cast members were blocked out for that day, which sucked. Anyway, moving on. Well, I'll do 4th of July real quick before I go into the 101 procedures. 4th of July. I worked the 3rd and the 4th were considered the 4th of July because both days had fireworks. And the fireworks were freaking awesome. I worked Wishes on the 3rd. And it was fabulous. It was so cool. Now, I worked the least busiest position for Wishes, which is right by Sir Mickey's. And which, by the way, Sir Mickey's is closed from 9-ish until 10:30. That's where all the Frozen stuff is. You're just going to have to deal with it. It'll open up again at 10:30. Deal with it. Anyway, 3rd of July. Fireworks were awesome. So cool. Mind you, if you're going to see it as a cast member, just go to West Clock and watch it there. Don't go to the Polynesian. Don't try to go into Magic Kingdom. You can see it from the cast parking lot. Just watch it there. And that's where everybody else is. The reason I know this is because on the 4th, I got really, really nauseous sick because I was just getting over a cold. And I had worked a lot of hours because it was really busy around that time period. So, I had to get an ROS because I just couldn't. But I ended up getting it around the time the fireworks started to go off. So I ended up being in the cast parking lot right when the fireworks started to go off. So I just stayed and watched the fireworks. And it was pretty cool. Now, I wish I could hear the music. You can't hear the music from the parking lot, of course. But I could see the fireworks, and it was awesome. It was so cool. But the 4th of July... I wasn't in the front of the castle, I was in the back, so I have no idea what it was like in the front of the castle. Don't want to know what it was like, because it was crazy. Especially when we set up for Wishes, we had 10 or more extra people who were just doing guest flow, just making sure guests were flowing the right direction, because it was so crowded back there, especially when we shut down for Wishes, because that cuts off half of Fantasyland by the castle. So, traffic all had to go in one area, and it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It was so busy. I'm so glad that I ended up getting out of that, because I would not have been able to make it through the night with feeling the way I was. I was, dizzy and lightheaded, and it was ridiculous. Anyway, so that day was busy as well. We haven't had any crazy days. The summer's been busy. It's one of those things where, I've just worked it in the heat, and you have to adapt. You just have to adapt. You have to learn to drink water, keep snacks in your pocket if you have to, freeze bottles, freeze every other bottle so that way you always have ice cold water. you know, you gotta do what you can, especially when you have to work outside. It's just, you have to be creative and do whatever you need to do to survive this heat, because it is really, really hot, and I don't do well in the heat, so I've had to learn a lot of little tricks and things on to kind of like keep myself cool and okay without like passing out from heat exhaustion. And yes, let your managers know if you're going to feel like you're going to pass out, because they will let you go and sit down for about 10-15 minutes and just chill. Sometimes you just gotta chill. But I'm very looking forward to school starting over again, so that way the park won't be as busy. I remember how it was my first program. It was busy for a little bit, and then it was nice and not busy, and it was beautiful. It was glorious. Anyway, 101. Speaking of summer and the heat, this is Florida. It gets really hot here, especially in the middle of the day. It's gonna rain, and it has almost every single day rained once, at least a little bit. If not all day, it rains most of the day sometimes. It thunderstorms sometimes. It just drizzles sometimes. But at least in Magic Kingdom, there are a lot of attractions that are outdoor attractions. And for your safety, they cannot operate when thunder and lightning is going on. I mean, like, we're not even allowed outside when thunder and lightning is going on. And so, like, if they go 101, that is not our fault. It is Florida. You know, Walt decided to build the park here for whatever reason. And, you know, it rains here. It thunders and lightnings and storms here a lot. So the outdoor attractions are going to go 101. And we have to keep our cast and, most importantly, our guests safe. Gosh, I'm tired. Safe. And that said, I'm sorry you had a fast pass for Thunder Mountain. I'm sorry you had a fast pass for the Mine Train. Sorry, you can't ride it if it's 101. You know, sometimes it'll go back up again, and you can use your fast pass again later in the day, which will totally screw up their line, but that's not my problem. You know, save it for later. Or you can try and use it for something else. But please do not try to bring it for Anna and Elsa at the hall. So, sorry, just save it and use it for another attraction, specifically a ride, not a character meet and greet. Princess Fairy Tale Hall is a character meet and greet. It's not a ride, so it's treated completely differently. Oh, and no strings. This is going to be my last rant. No strings. No strings. Those beautiful little yellow cards that get you free ice cream and free stuff and get you through the fast pass line for attractions, they're not for meet and greets. That means you can't use it at Belle. You can't use it to see Ariel. You can't use it to see Mickey. And yes, you cannot use it to see any, that includes Rapunzel and Cinderella, any other princesses at Princess Fairy Tale Hall. It's not a character voucher that you can use. Sorry, you can't use it there. You know, you can whine all you want, but you cannot use it there. It even says in fine print on the back. It excludes character experiences. Sorry, you can't. Sorry. We'll just, no. No, just no. Anyway, I hate to leave it on a negative, odd, awkward note, but that is pretty much attractions. I love attractions. I specifically love Philhar. If I didn't love Philhar, I was like Philhar Complex. If I didn't love Philhar Complex, I would have moved to somewhere else, which many people did. Many people moved to either merchandise or they moved somewhere else. Like one of my friends moved to Space Mountain, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I love attractions. I love my job. I love how they're all different attractions. And yeah, I do love Princess Fairy Tale Hall. It's nice to get to see the princesses. And I love working with the character attendants. They're fun. And Photo Pass, I should say, because I get to work with them too. And which means I get to see Emily sometimes at work, which is really nice. So yeah, that's about it for attractions ups and downs. I'm very excited to see what we do for the Christmas parties and the Halloween parties coming up, because I hear we get to partake in the trick-or-treating stuff for Halloween, so that'll be cool. And yeah, that's it for this vlog. See you real soon.